guys, Patty from Patty's Crafty Spot, and I have a new project to share with you. This is a design team project for Country Craft Creations, and I used the gorgeous papers, the new ones, the bee house. And let me just go ahead and show you my project, and then I'll explain it to you. So this is this, and I don't have room to go forward, so I'm going to have to angle it. Really cute. So let's walk you through. So this is a decor piece, and this is a piece that I had picked up at a local thrift shop, and it was a clock. I will insert a picture, either the beginning or the end, or both, that shows what this originally looked like. But I went ahead and picked this up when I saw it, and I kind of have a thing for clocks, so I absolutely love them. Making them, alter them, everything. So I have this right here. So I took the bee house paper and I went ahead and covered it all over this piece, around it. And on the new, let me just grab it. Sorry about that, I forgot to grab it ahead of time. So everywhere else where there was places where I couldn't really put paper in because of the design of the wood that was on here, I went ahead and I used the metal flakes, and these things are amazing. I'm going to literally cover everything in my house in this stuff, and I went ahead and also got the Gildan glue to go with it. So I used a foam brush, put it on. I do kind of have a tutorial on when I was decorating this just to show you. I also used some of the gorgeous trim. These are the little pom-pom trims. And what else did I use? Oh, I also, it's probably not going to show the best, or maybe a little bit. You can see my flowers are kind of shiny. So I went ahead and recently picked up the, where are they? Right here, the Wink of Stella. And I picked up the 3-pack that has the brush and then the 2 refills. This was so much fun to use. I just got it the other day, so I put it on real quick. So I also went ahead and added some doors to this piece. I didn't really kind of go through what to make this, only because it's specific to the size of this clock. And I didn't want to give out measurements because obviously you're not going to be able to recreate this. But I think if I remember right, I kind of walked you through on how I figured out what it was, the sizing. So hopefully that will help you. And then my little flowers that I put on here, I cut them out of the paper as well. And that was a die from Crealies. And what else do I got? Oh, I also have added lights to the back. So I have a switch here for the lights. And one thing I did do when I was creating it, I thought I had my album small enough, but I run into the situation I often do, is I end up making my albums bigger than I anticipate. So I did have to build up the back of this a little bit with some layers of chipboard. So I added 1, 2, 5. Altogether it's 5 layers, so strips. And I just cut out the strips on the side and then added the stuff in the back. And I don't know, because it's very light. Oh, you can kind of see the lights. So I did go ahead and pick up a battery light pack, and I just picked that up to the Dollar Tree. So Sally is probably going to be very proud of me for going and getting it from the dollar store. But you can see the lights right there. So it's really pretty when it's darker, and I'll go ahead and put pictures up of that because I do already have some pictures I took at night. So anyway, you open up these little doors that I attached with some hinges, and there's a little mini folio inside. Oh, the other thing I used too was those fibers. These right here, these glitter fibers are amazing, and they just kind of add to it. So I know I didn't specifically call those out, but you can see how pretty those are right on there. I love it. And whoops, I love to break it is what's going to happen. So I went ahead, and this is the little folio that I made. Let me put that on the floor. So this is a little folio I made. Let me see if that light helps. Probably washes it out too much. But this is a little folio. And I went ahead and did the same thing with the flowers. So don't know how well it's going to come up. But I left off You can see the sparkle on these two flowers. I didn't put any of the Wink of Stella on this one because I wanted to kind of show the difference. And you can kind of see the sparkle, but you can see how cute this paper is, and everything that I used on this is perfect for this paper line, which is absolutely my favorite. So let me walk you through it. So it does open up, and it is it's sized to fit in the clock. However, it's also a super cute, perfect little size to go ahead and just make a quick little album. So right off the front, the pages are built on the covers. So there is no hinge system. And you can see how when it's closed, like that. And then I added the paper to the sides. And then this is the back. And then the spine. So it opens up like this. And then you go ahead into the two separate sections. These are identical. So to get to them, I went ahead and just created a photo mat that's in there. I have these two little half corner pages or pockets. I don't even know what you would call them, but these little flaps with corner pockets, and that's what holds everything together. So these open up like this, and then you go ahead and you open up the first part, and there's two small little pockets and then some tags I also created using the crealies die. And I didn't attach my pockets right next to each other because I kind of wanted the design element of these separate, and I talk about that when in the tutorial. And then this page opens up here, so you've got room for photos and stuff right on here. Then over here I created a little swing closure with a string. This opens up like this, and then we just have, whoops, looks like I forgot to do the other sides. Just a little pull-out section for photo mats, like that. And then I wanted to make sure everything stayed closed together, so just going right there to keep that closed. And then this whole thing lifts up. You come over here. This is the back side of the inside cover. So if I hold it up right here, so this is the back side right here with a pocket and some photo mats. Gorgeous paper. Oops, and get my stuff out of the way. Slide it over. So then you come over to this side right here. Again, this is a shallow pocket with a flap. Hold the photo mats, keep the pocket closed, and you can go ahead and open it up like this, and you have some photo mats right here and here. And then you can always put some loose photos right inside the back here, and then everything here keeps everything contained because it'll close all up on all four sides, so nothing will fall out. And then you go ahead and keep it all closed just like that. And then this comes over here and then back. So everything just kind of crosses back and forth from each other. And then, like I said, this photo mat keeps everything closed. And let me see, do I have my ruler handy? I'll find a ruler in 1 second. Let me go through this part right here. So that, again, like I said, this repeats itself right here. So I got some photo mats inside, and then the little corner flat pockets right there. And then again, two little pockets with some tags. And then this part here to keep everything contained. And then our photo mats. I have 4 on here. You can do less. I wouldn't say go too much more, maybe add 1 more, but you don't want to get too thick. Although if you're not obviously putting it in something like I am, then you could get away with going a little thicker. I would just increase the width of your spine if you plan on going a lot thicker. And then this opens up here. Again, a pocket in the back. And then right here again, this all opens up just like that. Right like that. And then we close everything back down. So just crisscross everything over. And just like that. And it all closes up. Let me find my ruler. Okay, it was hiding under my paper cutter. So let me give you some measurements on the book. So this measures 8 inches across and 5.5 inches tall. And my spine is 1.5 inches. So if you are going to go ahead and add more stuff, just increase the spine to like maybe 2 inches. I originally did this at 2 inches and then it wasn't fitting in my clock. So I had to shorten the spine up. So you can see it is a little thick in the middle here. But other than that, absolutely gorgeous. I love this piece. So anyway, that's just something, an idea. You can go to a thrift store, or flea markets or anything like that and find something. And if you're not quite happy with it, just go ahead and add paper to it and embellish it. Go ahead and add the flakes because you can see what a difference this clock is. So I will definitely put in those pictures so you can see the before, because it doesn't even look like the same clock anymore. Right there. And then on the back is just where I have my little light box. I'm probably going to open it up and put a little screw through the bottom under here so it can go ahead and not flop around. And then my clock piece. So I just used all the pieces that came with this as my templates to recut everything. So like the circle part on the top there, this was the original piece right here. And I just used it as a template and cut out the paper with the pattern paper with using this as the template. And I just kept the same clock face that was with it and the clock hands. So, but just a few little fun things to do with it and you totally can change the look. All right, so I do have a full tutorial on making this cute little folio. And I walk you through on some of the steps as I'm creating this piece here of how I altered it and stuff like that. So I do kind of show you how I did that. So if you do find a piece, you can go ahead and kind of be inspired to create your own. But anyway, I hope you enjoy this. I will leave a link down below to Country Craft Creation store where I got all of this fun stuff to play with. All right, so we are going to go ahead and get started on a new project. So I have been dying to get into this paper ever since I saw it. This has to be one of my favorite collections that Tamara has come out with right now. I'm sure it'll end up going to a new one as the new collections come out, but right now I love this one. So I also went ahead and picked up the metal flakes in the shop. And we're going to do a little bit of a mixed media project with a mini album. And, oh, and I also have the gilding glue. So I've been really wanting to try this as well. So what I did was I went to, let me show you the picture. So I picked up this piece. I've already torn it all apart. So it's not, I don't have all the pieces anymore to it. So I wasn't sure what I was going to do. But I went to a kind of a thrift shop and I picked up 3 pieces, but actually the paper might look cute on that little one too. I have all kinds of bee things. So anyway, I picked up this and I tore it apart and it has a hole here, which was just originally a frame, and the top part was a clock. So I'm going to go ahead and do a clock part in the top, but on the bottom, I was thinking of having 2 little doors that open up, and I'm going to have a mini album inside. Of course, it has to have a mini album. So let me just show you the back. So there's a lot of room here. So I figure it won't be room for a huge mini album, but probably I can get away with something with a 2-inch spine. And then of course it's got to fit through the doorway. So it's probably going to be, looks like I can do 6 by 8 maybe. Yeah, I can get away with 6 by 8 and you can set it in there. And then I'll have the doors that open up on it. So I started to go ahead and put some of the paper on it because I just wanted to see how it was going to work and if I had the right stuff to stick it on. So I'm actually just using some Mod Podge that I had. Actually, I didn't have it open because the other ones that I had were no good. So I'm glad this one was sealed because I wanted to go ahead and try it. So what I'm going to do is cover the rest of it with paper. So to do that, I just took and measured what it was and by the height, and I just cut the pieces. I put the Mod Podge down and then just put the paper on top. And what I was thinking of on this part, because obviously I can't cover this with paper because it's all kind of beveled and it's literally impossible to put paper on any of this. I was going to use the flakes on it because I thought it would be kind of pretty. I just haven't decided which one. So the copper is a little too copper, but it's a toss-up between using the vintage and the sparkling. So you can see, it's hard to see on the camera. This one's kind of like a silver and a gold, and then this one's a copper and a gold. And I was trying to figure out which one would look better. And either one will. So we'll have to figure it out. I kind of think I'm leaning towards the sparkling one, because the copper will pick up some of these colors in here, but I think this one's going to go better. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to finish covering this. So I have these two sides here done, and I'm going to do these two sides and the top. I'm going to put paper crust here, and I'm probably going to do the little ledges because that's like way too much to cover with the gold or the flakes, whatever I use. So I'll probably cover some of it with some paper, and then the flakes will hide whatever I can't cover with the paper. And hopefully it will all look good together. So I'm going to go ahead and put my paper on the other side. So to put that on, well, let me cut one and just show you how I do that. All right, so I went ahead and I cut out my strip. Let's slide on down a little bit. So I cut it to the size, and I'm going to, oh, I also inked it with Vintage Photo. And I'm going to go ahead and coat it with the Mod Podge. I'm using a foam brush so I don't have any glumps of Mod Podge, so I can get a nice even coat. And I don't know how quick this dries, so I am moving pretty quick on it. And I'm not worried about getting it in other places because it's all going to get covered. So put that on. Making sure my paper's not overhanging, and then I just burnish it down because the Mod Podge is kind of wet, so it's the paper's wanting to kind of lift up. So I'll just keep working that till I know it's down good, but that's how I went ahead and put my paper on the other side. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do the rest like I said, and then we'll come back and we'll start working on the flakes. Alrighty, I don't know how well the camera is going to pick that up, but it looks so cool. And then the paper's on the side. So let me show you how I did this. So I just have a Teflon mat so I can spread out my glue. And then what you do is I'm just brushing it on. And I'm making sure I'm getting in the little down inside there. So you put it on and then you wait for it to go clear or dry clear. It's not really dry because it's sticky. And then you can put the flakes on. But this is so much fun. I've never done this before. So I'm having fun with that. I like to try new things, so this is definitely a new one. And then I'm making sure I'm getting the glue down in like the bevel parts here because I want to make sure the flakes get down in there. So oops. Let me get on this here, and then across the top. And then I will show you. All right. That looks good. And make sure I got it here. And I'm trying to make sure that I do have even coats so it's not clumpy. Because I'm not really sure, like, if the glue dries, what if it would leave clumpy spots. I probably would, or it's definitely going to take a while to dry. So you can see where I have the glue, it's all shiny. And I will be back in 1 minute once that kind of dries a little bit, and I'll show you. All right, so my glue looks like it's dry enough. Now let me show you. Let me zoom in a little bit. All right, and try not to breathe. So what I did was I just grabbed some because this is kind of sticky now. So, and I just start patting it on. And my talking right now is moving it around. So I just tap it in. And more over here. So it kind of looks like a mess at first. But I'll show you. Oops. So I just kind of smush it in. Oops. That's like all kinds of layers right there. That's neat. It is super fine though. So just press it on. And now I just have a little brush, so I'm going to kind of stick it down inside. Oops. So it's definitely going to take me a little bit to do. So I'm just going to show you like right here. But once it's all in there, and you just start brushing away, and it smooths itself out. At first I wasn't sure when I started doing it what this part was going to look like. But then once you keep working it in there, and then you just rub, and it presses down what's there on the glue, and then anything extra, it just comes off. So, just like that. So you can see how well the camera shows it. So you can see it's just kind of smoothing itself out just by doing that. And then my brush is just taking off whatever extra is hanging around. But the combination of the gold and the silver is really pretty. So I'm glad I chose this one because I think it's going to match the paper perfect. And so that's all I'm doing. I just keep working at it till it's all smooth. And try not to breathe. I'm using like a little bit of a stiffer brush. I think a soft brush probably won't like rub it in as good, but the thicker brush, coarser, is actually doing really good. So yeah, I'm going to continue on, and I'll come back and show you when I get this top part done, because I got to do the same thing to the bottom. Okay, so I got the whole top done, and you can see how pretty that is? It is absolutely gorgeous. Oops, too much light. There you go. So super, super pretty. So this is going to be fun. I think I'm going to be adding foil to everything right now. But there you go. So now I'm just going to continue on doing the same thing. And you just got to rub it really good to get it to stick down and all the excess of the foil. So I'm thinking maybe like a soft cloth afterwards to kind of help buff it out. Might be pretty good, because I'm sure by the time I'm done I won't have fingers left. But anyway, that's what the top looks like now. So you can see the top right there, and then you can see what it looks like. So you can definitely see the two differences right there. Alrighty, so I'm going to just finish up all the foiling everywhere, and then I'll show you when I'm done. So I'm going to go ahead and add, I used almost this whole jar. I'm going to go ahead and add some of the metal flakes around the part that's going to be my clock. So for this piece, all I did was grabbed the original pieces that were in it and measured them out, and they were 8 by 8. So I cut out a piece 8 by 8, and I repurposed the clock face that was on it, which was literally just piece of paper. So I stuck that down, and then I used my crealies metal dies I had, and I had a circle one. So I just found which circle matched the clock face, and then I just cut it out and attached it, and then I inked the edges. So what I thought would be kind of neat is to go ahead and add some of the metal flakes to the corners to kind of bring it up. And I figured I would show you. I showed you on the clock, not the clock, the cabinet part. So I figured let's go ahead and have some fun on the paper. So I'm just kind of going to bring it up a little bit. I don't want to overdo it, so just kind of want to add a little, and we'll see how it goes. I can add more. And I don't want to go overly crazy with it. Just to add a little bit of detail to it. So let's do this corner. And I don't think with it in there it's going to have a lot. Should I do the bottom? I'll do a little bit across the bottom. I kind of want it going a little wispy like, because I don't want it so like squared off. All right, so let me let that dry, and then we'll add some flakes. Okay, so I think we are sticky enough, so let's go ahead, see if I'm ready for the cleanup like I had to do on that other piece. And let's get some down in this corner. Oops. Flat out. Shoot. I always forget because now I can't see it, so I touch it. Get all on there. I don't want to cover too much of the paper because the paper is gorgeous. So don't breathe. All right, let's see what it looks like. It's so fun when you rub it off afterwards and see what you get. Now I have noticed that when I get super shiny spots that it's layers of the foil. That looks pretty. Don't know if I want to do the whole clock or just the bottom. I'm going to go with just the bottom for now. And see how that looks, because like I said, I don't want to overkill it with foil because there's so much on the piece itself. And I don't know how much is going to show. I can do this. So, oh, see, it's not even going to show. Oops. All right, we shall see. So I'm going to go ahead and make some flowers. I'm going to do some 3D flowers, and I'm going to add them to my decor piece. So what I did was I went ahead and cut out my little flowers, and I used the flower die from Crealies. This is what I'm using. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to make them. So I cut out a bunch. And right now I am just inking them with some vintage photo. And then I have the McGill set for adding some texture to the flowers and making them pop a little bit more like 3D. So I'm going to go ahead real quick and finish inking these up, and then we'll start shaping our flowers. All right, so these are all inked up, and these are made with the scraps from the bee paper. So it'll match nice with everything else because obviously it matches. So what I'm going to do is I'm taking out, it's not the smallest one. It's the smallest of the large that I'm going to use, I think. No, you know what? I'm going to use the second size. So what I'm going to do in this one here is, this is my bottom one, or the largest of my 3 dies. So this is the top part of it, and I'm going to flip it over. So on these ones here, when I do this particular flower, I like to do the bottom layer and curl it this way. And all I'm doing is just taking the ball and just actually going back and forth with it, and that's about it. So now it looks like a little cup. So that was the back side. So now I flip it over, and I'm just going to take it in the middle, smush it down, and roll it. And now I have that. So now for the medium size, I do it the opposite way. So now I'm curling on the side that I want to see. So I have that. So when you put them together, kind of gives you that kind of effect. And then the smallest one, let's go with a lighter one because that one's dark. All I do is just roll it. So let me show you with them put together now. So a little dab of glue in the middle of that one. This one on, and then I want to push it down. And just hold it a minute or two just to get it to go ahead and stick. And then I'm going to put the little one on. Same thing. And that's what I have right now. Really cute. So that. And now I just need a brad. So I have a little cup of them. And this one, let's actually, kind of like that one. So then for this, I'm going to go ahead and get a punch. Find my punch. Okay, found my punch. So this is you can see how tiny that is. I just need to make a little hole just so I can stick my brad through, because I don't want to tear the paper. And let's see. I guess this one isn't going to be long enough, so we'll just go to this one. All right. So I'm using this big punch right here because it has a littler. I actually want it smaller, but that's all that I seem to have. So punch a little hole in it and then put my brad through. I like to glue them first just so I know they're lined up where I want them. Get on camera. Anyway, that is the first one. So let's make another one. And let's go with this one. This is my bottom, so I flip it over. And I just put a little curl in those petals. And if you make flowers, this is a must-have set. And I'm pretty certain, I could be wrong, but I think Tamara put it in the shop. And now this one is a medium. And then my small one, let's go with this one, a nice bright color. Sometimes people also take and spritz them with some water. I don't usually do that though. Oops. All right, little drop of glue there. That one there. And then the little one. And then in the center, so. Now let's go ahead and do another one. Just so you can see again. Oops, this side. If you do it, yeah, I'm going to keep doing it the way I'm doing it. So get all those a little curl. If you don't have a stylus like this, if you have other styluses, you can go ahead and use those. You can also use anything that might have a curved edge to it. You could also just curl them with a dowel too. I've done that before. Right So one thing you could do with them is I just use a dowel sometimes, and I will just kind of curl the petals up. So we'll do this one a little differently. A pencil for this size flower would be too big, but this one, like that. And then let me just give it a little more curl. And so this one, I'll do the opposite way. So you don't always have to have a special tool. Sometimes you can just use whatever you have. Okay, and then you can glue these. And get it in the glue. And let's use this one. Now I'm just going to go ahead and roll this one just because it's too much. It's too little for the dowel. You could stop right there though if you wanted to and just add a brad right to that part. It doesn't have to be all 3 layers. So that is another look by just rolling it different. You give it a whole new look. All right, so let's see. Oops, I finished this one up. And these guys. This way too, it's actually really pretty. And then you also give yourself a look of a different type of flower. Okay, and we'll do these. Okay, and let's see. That one, that one. Let's do these ones. I'm not gluing on my mat because I don't want it to get glue on it. Because you need the mat to be nice and soft to roll the flowers, and if you get glue on it, it's not going to be so soft because the glue will dry hard. Oops, that one already has glue. And I'm going to go ahead off camera and make a bunch more flowers, but I just want to show you. Those dry, and then let me show you this one with a brad on it. Slide it under. Okay. So let me show you the 2 different looks now. So these are the same die, but curling it differently, you get the 2 different, whoops, you get the 2 different looks on it. And then if you actually put them together, they would look like 2 different flowers. Alrighty, so I hope you like that little tutorial on my little flowers. So let me catch you up to speed as to where I am at. So I have put the clock face in. I just repurposed it. And I did do the gold foil as you saw on the bottom. However, I stopped because whatever I do on the sides, it's going to take a lot to go ahead to actually see it through what this whole space is. Because I think it is whoops, it is only 6 inches, and this part here was 8, so I'd have to come in a lot, and I don't want to lose some of the paper, so we're just going to leave it like that. I also went ahead, which you have not seen yet, attached 2 doors, and they open up like this, and a mini album will go inside. So I didn't show how I created these doors, only because there's no point, because if you don't have a project you're doing, it's not really going to make sense to you. But basically what I did was I measured the space that I needed, cut 2 pieces of chipboard. I just used regular hinges, although I'm kind of not liking how they're not really even. I don't know if I'll adjust those or I'll just leave them the way they are. But what I did was measured the space from top to bottom and side to side, split it in half, and that's where I got my doors. I did add magnets, so I just cut out an extra piece of chipboard, covered that as well, and attached it to the back of one of my doors. This way here, it goes ahead and closes, and then there's magnets here and metal discs here, so it'll keep it closed, and then little handle pulls that I had for my stash. And then I just attached with brads the hinges that attach to the door, and then I use the screws into the wood for the other half. But I'm a perfectionist and I'm not liking how it's not even, but I don't really think there's anything you can do about it, so it's probably just going to stay like that. However, I have this little pom-pom ribbon from Country Craft, and I was thinking that that would be super cute to go ahead and attach on my trims here. So on that area and on, and then across the top. So I have my flowers that I cut out, and those are going to go somewhere around, let's see if I can turn it. So the flowers are going to go somewhere around like in this area to kind of give it decorative element. So I'll figure that out, but before I do that, I do need to add the pom-pom ribbon because it is going to sit underneath. So I'm just going to go through with a bead of glue and attach it on, and then I'll have it going around like that. So as you can see, the ribbon's got the pom-pom, and it has like a flat part, which will go ahead and I think glue on nice, just like that. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that on. I don't know, let's see. If I stand up, oops, and I start sticking it on here. It might take a while because I want to make sure it's dry before I continue, but that's what I'm going to do. So let's see. I want to get a clean edge here. And do that. So let's see. Oops. I think the pom-pom ribbon is going to be so cute on here. Oops. So you can see how cute that's going to look. So let's keep going. And I'm just going to work a little bit at a time. Oops. Because I want it to dry before I move on. That part is a little, it's kind of creased, or the ribbon is, so. All right, it's probably going to take me a while. So, and that is kind of folding up, so I wonder if I can use a piece of square tape backing so it doesn't stick to my finger. All right, so I'm going to let that dry, and then I'm going to keep going. So I'll be back in a little bit. All right, so let me just show you right here. I do have it on this part, and it's still drying. Over here, the first side, whoops, is, I think that's all dry, so that looks like it's going to hold really well. But you can see how cute the pom-poms look on it. Oops. And you can see it adds a nice element to it. So now I'm going to go ahead and do the bottom half. All right, so I now have the bottom part on. So that, whoops. So that's on. I think I say whoops all the time. But anyway, that is on, although that looked like it. No, it just sagged. But yeah, it looks really good now. Look at all that metal flakes. It's so pretty. All right, so let's see what's next. I know I have my flowers that are going to go on, but I don't know quite how I'm going to do these guys yet. Something like that. I'm going to use, I have some like fake leaves that I'm going to use, so I'm going to attach those on. Something like that, and then maybe in the upper corner. I'll do it something like that. I think that looks pretty. And I put my leaves on. All right, we shall see. All right, so I'm going to glue my flowers on. I found some mulberry leaves in my stash, and I'm also using the fantasy fiber, and this one is daffodil, which is perfect for the bee paper. So I'm going to put that on down here like that, and then I'm going to put my flowers like that. Those aren't attached yet. I'm going to put the fibers up there too, but my glue gun is all ready to go. So, and I'm going to stick these on, and then the glue from the flowers are going to hold the fibers on, hopefully. So let's go ahead and set up how I want it. So it's going to go something like that. And these will go under there. Oops, wrong way. So it'll look something like that, and then these are so sparkly, so they're pretty. So let's take these guys off. And I'm going to unplug this because it's easier. So now a little bit of glue, and that's going to go right there. I can feel the heat through the brad. And then this guy. It's going to go like that. Okay. And I'm just holding them a second so they can adhere there. And then this one. Like that. I want my bottom corner to be the top one, so that's why I put that one on last. And my leaf. That one. And under there. So that looks pretty like that. I am contemplating taking a flower because I don't like how these brads are like really close to the edge where the rest, they're kind of in on the paper a little bit. So I'm thinking maybe gluing a flower down there to kind of hide it. It's from my old card making days, like there's no oops, it's just a spot to embellish, which was the same back when I was doing cards. So I'm thinking of that, but we shall see. I do like that though. It looks pretty. So now let me plug my gun in so it doesn't get cool. So now I'm going to do up here. So let me take these off. So I was just pulling out the fibers and just kind of laying them in there till I had what I thought was enough that I liked. These are so pretty. So I think that looks good. So we're going to go this little guy up here, and then my leaves. So let's start with this one. And we'll put this one on. So it's really fun to repurpose something. So as soon as I saw this clock, when I went to actually go pick up something else, it was one of the other pieces I got that day. They had just received this in, and as soon as I spotted it, I was like, I want that. And then I think she said $5, and I'm like, sold. So a $5 little clock from a thrift shop, and I have completely changed the look of it. Might have been 10 too, I don't remember. It was $5 or $10, that was it. Let's get over there. There. So that's how that looks right now. So let's see if I can get it. Not pretty. And then the fibers they're just kind of like floating there. And they look so pretty. Alrighty. So that's where we're at right now. I don't know where I'm going from here. Do I want to do that? I think I do, but I need to get some more leaves. And maybe, let's see, can I put a little on? Yeah, that kind of looks pretty like that. All right, we're just going to go for it because those brads in the wrong spot bug me. So we are going to hide them. Get in there. Oops. All right, so there's that. And let me just get some more leaves. All right, so I found a couple of leaves. And that one right there. And one more. Here we go. And then when you open the doors, it does not catch. So we are good. Yeah, catches a little bit, but the flower's flat, so it's not going to do anything. But I do like that much better now because it's hiding my brad. I didn't like how those brads were. Anyway, that's where we are right now. Alrighty. So I don't know what's left. I want to make one of those little beehives like Sally made with the twine, but I want to make a mini one to go up at the top. One more flower, but do I want to put it there? Oops. Actually, it kind of looks pretty right there. All right, we're going to add it there. Okay, so I was going to put it up here, but then I decided I didn't want to mimic the top part too much. I wanted to give that its own look, so I decided instead I'm going to go ahead and put it on the bottom of the door, and then it would look like the ground. So I'm going to get some more fibers. Put a few on. I'm sure some of these are going to fall off at some point. So put a few extra on and then hopefully they don't. All right, let's see if this is still hot enough. Okay. That's going to go there. I probably would have redone my doors just because of that part right there. However, I actually used glue on the other side, so I can't take it apart unless I like completely take it apart, and then I would end up ruining it, so I'm not going to. So this is the next best thing. However, I really like it, so I'm kind of glad that it did happen because it made me think how I could hide that. And I think I came up with a really good solution. So let me get that little leaf petal up. All right. There. Yay. That's so pretty. And then the doors, this one. All right. It catches a tad, but I think we're good because, again, it's paper and it's flat, so we're good. Anyway, so pretty. I really love how this is coming out now. So we have that, and then on the bottom. Alrighty. We're going to go ahead and get started and make my little mini folio or mini album. It's not going to have any hinges. I'm going to build everything off the covers. So I guess it's going to be a folio. I was going to do an album, but the space that I need to put this in is too small. So I can only go 1.5 inches on my spine. So what I have here is 2 pieces of chipboard. and they are 5.5 by 8, 2 of those, and one that is 1.5 by 8, and that's my spine. I've already gone ahead and covered one piece, and now we'll do the other two together and put it together. So let's go ahead and get started. This is my cardstock using my spacers from Country Craft Creations, and I'm also covering this in the lay flat album cover that Tamara created. So let's go ahead and get this one covered. So I have it fully covered with score tape. Oops. And this is going to go in my decor piece that I've already covered with the bee house paper, which is absolutely gorgeous. So it's going to have a functioning clock on the top, and the bottom that originally held a like a photo kind of thing is going to, I added the doors, and it's going to go ahead and have this little mini behind it. So let's get all that pressed down. And I'm just going to trim this up an inch all the way around. And this side. And then I'm going to go ahead and wrap all of that with score tape. And put this on there. And then I'll make some more of the paper flowers that I did on the decor piece. I thought it was very pretty, so we'll kind of match something like that. Whoops, on that piece. So it kind of gives you an idea if you take something and repurpose it. So I had gotten the clock originally at a thrift shop in my local area, and I got a few other pieces. I actually went to get something else and saw the clock, and that was it. But the bee paper, I think, is absolutely gorgeous on it. So it'll be so pretty. Now we're going to cut our corners off. You can either use a tool, which I prefer, or you can just go ahead and cut it with scissors. But I love tools, so I have lots. Right. There's that. And we're going to go ahead and fold it down. Like that. And fold it up. There we go, nice and smooth. We'll do the other side. There we go. And then both sides. Oops. And you want to have full tape coverage on it. I'm smushing the corners down right now. That way you don't have any lifting of your cover, especially if you put like some embellishments and stuff on it. You don't want the cover to lift off. And now I just like to take and kind of press down those pieces there to make them a little smoother so you don't feel like the step of the two papers together. So like right here, you can see it. I like to just smush it down so it's a little flatter. Last side. like that. Okay, and then same thing. All right, and now we just need to cover this little piece. So I'm gonna get another piece of paper. So I want to go with roughly 2 inches on the side here, this, and then 2 on the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that. And I want to do probably 1 inch top and bottom. So this is 5.5. So I'm going to make it 7.5. And it's going to be by 2, 4, 5.5. So it's going to be 5.5 by 7.5. Let me cut that. All right, so I have this piece that's 5.5 by 7.5. So I need to go ahead and I'm going to score first at 2 inches. And then I'm just going to fold this over. So I'm taking it because I want to put this on here, but I want to be able to make sure it's lined up. So I found if I do that, and I'm going 1 inch from the top, so I can use 1 spacer. All right, so my spacer there, this is going to go all the way to the side and to the top. So now it's centered. And let's go ahead. I'm going to fold this over. So I like to go ahead, fold it over so it's nice and tight here. And then I just use my finger, go back and forth. Same thing with this one. In the center, and then just go back and forth. You're going to trim that part, so it doesn't really matter. So let's go ahead and add a little bit of tape. And I'm just adding it in, so it goes over just a tad, because we're going to trim it. And I do want to make sure I have tape on the whole thing, so add a little more. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and stick that down. Like that. Right up against the chipboard. And just press it out. And the same thing on this side. Here we go. So now what I want to do is, let's fold it up and then let it go ahead and fold over. And then the same thing with this side. So if we flip it over, what we're wanting to do is go ahead and get this up against the chipboard. So you're wanting to, I'm going to show it. Let me smush it in a little more. So you can see like right here. So what it is you want it to kind of go up against the side of the, like right here on this on the chipboard. You kind of want that impression right up against the side, because what you're going to do now is these are going to go over the top and you want it to be able to go flat. So before we do that, we need to trim. So right from the edge here, I'm going to trim out. And I'm going to do it on all 4 spots. Just like that. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and let's see. Let's get rid of some of this bulk. So I'm just going to trim back some of this. So you can see where I didn't have any tape on it. Now just get rid of some of the bulk on the cover. All right, and then I'm just going to make sure they're flat. It's all going to get covered with paper anyway. All right, so now we're going to put our covers on, but let's get some tape down. Now I'm going to go, I'm leaving probably, I don't know, maybe almost 3/8 from getting all the way to that side there, because I don't want the tape showing, and I'm going to add tape to the cover. Oops. And then I'll show you. So let's trim that off. Okay, and the side. All right, and now my covers. Whoops, tape won't get off me. So for these here, I'm going to add some tape. I'm not going to, so I'm going to add some tape, but I'm not going all the way edge to edge, because as you can see, this is going to get stuck down. And you can see little parts of, let's say, so if I were to go the tape all the way up, you're going to see the tape sticking out from the top. So I'm just going to kind of put it not quite all the way. And then the same thing to this piece. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and add our covers. Let's get some space. All right. So I'm going to take our first cover. This is the tape right here. And then I'm just going to butt it right up against the spine. So let's take these off. And make sure you are even with your spine. They're the same measurements, so they should be. Okay. And let's do the other side. That one. There we go. And there we have it. So our book is made and it lays flat. Super cute. All right, so now what I want to do is, because I'm not actually creating pages in this, I'm going to build the pages up off of here and here. So I'm going to go ahead and cover this whole thing with tape and piece of cardstock. All right, so I've cut a piece. So remember, our height of our book is 5.5 inches. So I cut a piece of this at just under 5.5 inches because I want it to cover most of it, but I don't want it to overhang. So I did that, and then I actually don't have to cover the whole thing. It's just the spine area that I need to cover, and then the rest of this will be covered over when we do our pages. So I've added tape to the whole back. And I can stick it down. So I'm going to line it up where I want it, where it's going to look good. And I'm only going to do part of it because I want to make sure I get it where it's going to crease. Actually, I'm just going to stick it on. I'll fold it this way. And then let's do the other side. Make sure all that tape is burnished down really well. And then you just want to keep working this because you want to break the fibers in the paper so it won't crack. Alrighty. So it looks pretty good. So now we're going to go ahead and get started. And we're going to go ahead and figure out the pages. We're going to go ahead and get started creating the pages for this little folio. So the pages are going to be mounted to the inside, front, and back covers. I've already created one page, so let me just kind of walk you through how it works. So on this one here, you have two little smaller flaps, and let me just grab something. So these are going to stay closed with some photo mats and stuff, so they're going to go in like that. And then these little flaps open up. And then you have room to either put a large photo or smaller photos here. You're going to have two little pockets on this side to go ahead and add extra photo mats or tags. I'm probably going to put some tags in here. Again, more space over here. This opens this way. So this is what we have so far. Right here, now this is a little tie closure, or swing tie, and then I had a cute little bee from my stash, so he's on here. So then this opens up like this, and we have this page here, and then we have 4 photo mats that pull out just like that, and then it closes back up, and that keeps it all closed. And then this page opens up like this, and this is the back, or the back of the inside cover. And then you have a pocket on this side over here, room for photos. This page right here, let me just close this up so I don't jam it. This page right here is held together. Again, it's going to have some photo mats keeping the flap down on that. And then that would open up, and this part here comes down, and then you have 2 photo mats right here, and you can also go ahead and put in some loose photos and stuff, and then these flaps will keep everything contained. And then again, your photo mats will keep it closed. Yeah, let's open this back up. So then this just flips over here, and then to close it all up, you just go flip it back and forth, and then these 2 will keep that closed. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to work on this side. So we're going to duplicate this over here. So let's go ahead and get started. So I've already pre-cut all of my pieces. All right, so let me give you measurements. So we are going to start off with piece A, which is 8 by 5 1/4. And you are going to score on the 8-inch side at 7 inches and 7 1/2, because you're going to create this little gusset here, and that's the parts right here and here to go ahead and keep the album all, it gives it the thickness to keep all the pages together. So I've gone ahead and added score tape. I am just going to trim up the corners a little bit. So to put this piece on, this is going to go on the left side, I'm going to make sure everything is all squared up first, all the way around. So I just fold it on the first one, and then you still have this gusset, which will give you this. So we're going to start here first. And I'm going to go almost all the way to the edge, but not quite, making sure I am leaving equal space into the top and to the bottom. I'm going to hold it down and take this one off. So then now we have this part here. We can open that up. We're going to go to piece B, which this piece is 8.5 by 5 1/4. Most of my heights are 5 1/4 because that's what I have for the book. So on the 8.5 inch side, you're going to score at 7.5 and at 8. Same thing, added my score tape. And I'm going to just trim back those corners. And then folding back on the first score line, I have this, and I'm going to put this on this side now. And I'm going to make sure I am lined up. And I am lined up with this piece here. I just want to make sure. So I'm using this end down here because I can see where it's lined up to this piece. So I know I'll be squared off, and I am coming almost to where the end of my pages, or the end of the cover is. I am probably about a 1/16 of an inch roughly from that area. I'll show you in 1 second. So you can see my spacing right there, so nothing will interfere when you go ahead and close that. All right, so over here now I have 2 pockets, and these are going to go on the flap that I just put on here. So these are going to go on the back of B. So I have 2 pockets. These 2 right here are 4.5 by 3, score a 1/2 inch on each side and a 1/2 inch on the bottom. And now we're going to go ahead and trim those up to make our pockets. So I'm going to here, cut this one off. And then I'm just going to cut my corners a little bit. And then same thing with this one. Now this pocket is not going to fully get attached because I need to put pattern paper down first. And let me just show you. That is this one right here, because I'm leaving a little space between the two. So I need to put my pattern paper down before I attach the 2 sides. So I'm just going to attach the bottom. So I'm going to fold these. And give them a good crease. You can make the pockets touch side to side. I was just kind of going for a different look, so I wanted a little bit of space between those. And it was just for a decorative element, honestly. So I'm going to go ahead and put this one on. And I am going probably, let's see, probably 1/8 of an inch from the side. So we'll make sure that's where I want it. Just double check with this one, which looks perfect. So I'm just attaching the bottom. And then I'm going to do the same thing for the other side, leaving the same spacing. And looks good. Probably could have attached these pockets before I put the page on. It is hanging up on this. I have that one there. The next piece is going to be a larger pocket. So this piece is piece D, and this is 3.5 by 6 1/4, and I'm going to score on the 6 1/4, 1/2 inch each side, and at a 1/2 inch at the bottom. Same thing again. Just like that. And then just burnish these down. This one is going to go right over here. So this one is going to go up close to the score line that I have for this page, but not quite. So again, it's probably about 1/8 of an inch. And attach that down. And then the two sides. There is that one. Now we need piece E, which is 11 by 5 1/4. And on this one, you're going to score on the 11-inch side at 3 inches right here. And then all the way across to 10.5 with a 1/2 inch flap. And this piece is, let's just trim down some of this. Eliminate the bulk. So this piece right here, it goes this way. You're going to tuck this under. And now we're going to come over. This is flap A. And we're going to put this right down here next to that. So we're coming again all the way up to where this folds up, but not quite on that because you don't want to keep that from closing. So make sure you're even all the way around, and then you can stick that down. Just like that. So you have this little flap here. And our next piece is going to be, move my stuff, piece F, which is 6 1/4 by 4 3/4. And on the 4 3/4, you are going to score at a 1/2 inch. And this piece, we are working on the back side of this one now. So we're going to take this piece here. And trim off some of that. Let's get rid of some of this here. All right, so we're on the back side of this page right now. So on this one here, we are going to fold it and attach it to the bottom. And we also want to pretty much center it to the space so you have equal distance from both sides, which I would say is probably a little more than a 1/2 inch on each side and all the way to the bottom. So now we're going to attach that. Just like that. So this becomes a flap. And then now you're going to need piece G, which is 6 3/4 by 4 1/4, scoring on the 6 3/4 side at a 1/2 inch. And go ahead and fold those down. And I'm going to burnish them. Now these are going to be photo mats, but these are also the flaps that are going to keep the keep any loose photo mats from falling out. And trimming these off. So now this can come down. These are, oops, get some more room. These are going to go on each side. So you have two like this. One is going to go on each side. Again, centering it to the space. This one you want to be careful of the fold or the score line on the other piece. You don't want to interfere with it being able to close. So I'm probably a 1/16 of an inch away from this side here. So that way your page can still flap. And then I'm going to put this one on the opposite side, all the way to the edge. And then I'm using the one I just put down as a guide to make sure I'm lined up even. Stick that one down. Now we're moving on with our next flap. This is going to keep everything closed. So this one is piece I, which is, no, piece H. I'm sorry. This is piece H, which is 3 by 6 1/4, scoring on the 3-inch side at a 1/2 inch. And I'm going to go ahead, pull that up, and just chop our corners off. This is going to go on the top up here. So I'm going to open these up and fold it down. This is going to go on the top. And I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I am all the way at the top. And I'm lining up to my bottom photo map. And when I think I'm good, I'm going to stick it down. So this is this flap. So now I can tuck these guys back in. Have this, and now we're going to create the little pocket for the bottom. So that is going to be, oops, piece I, which is 2 by 7 1/4, scoring 1/2 inch each side, 1/2 inch on the bottom to make our pocket. I'm going to go ahead and cut these corners off. And fold down. Then this is going to go on the bottom, so right here. And it is exactly the width across, so you're going to be lined up perfect side to side. And on the bottom, this one can be completely attached. Like that. So we have that done. So this is what we have now, is this little pocket. So now we're going to open this up here. So this is the flap one right here. So now we are going to go ahead and we are using piece J, which is 6 1/2 by 5 1/4. And you are going to score on 5 3/4 and at 6. So you're creating a 1/4 inch gusset right there. And you can go ahead and fold. Like that. And we're going to chop off our corners. You're creating the gusset because we are going to have some photo mats in here. And this will allow them to expand. So we have our flap right here. This is going to go right on top of this page, all the way to the edge, making sure we're lined up top and bottom. And stick it down, and then we have our little gusset here. So this gives us a little bit of room for our photo mats, which is next. So you're going to need to cut 4 pieces at 4 1/4 by 6 3/4. Add tape to all of those. You're scoring at a 1/2 inch on the 6 3/4 inch side. So this will give you 4 1/4 by 6 1/4 photo mats. And I'm chopping off all the corners. All right. So the first one, because I know on this one here is, let me open this page up. So I need to stick this down here. So the first one, I'm going to fold it like this. So I know that this is going here. So now I'm going to go ahead and work off this piece. So I can fold this one inside so I don't see the tape. And then what I like to do is go ahead and set it on, and then, so this piece here, we're working on this side, this piece will go over and close on that. Always remembering that this piece here is going to attach down to the page. So just make sure it's all in nice and even. And attach this one like that. So this is what we have right now. And then I'm going to go on this one, same thing. I'm going to fold the tape so I don't see it, like that, hiding. So now we're still working. Again, this is going to my book. I have this page. I'm going to put this on top and then fold this over that next page. Making sure tight and square it off. Stick it down. And then the last one, same thing. I'm going to fold it over so I don't see the tape. And I'm going to attach this one again. You can see this page. This is going to go on the front and tuck over the back. Make sure I square it off. And nice and tight there. This is what we have now. So our little photo mats. Now I'll take my book back, and on this one here with our little 1/4 inch gusset, this guy is going to get attached right on top. I'm going to center it. And attach it down, and then now you see we have our little photo mats, and then right here we will have our little string closure to keep this together. We're almost done. So now we just need to go ahead and work on our closures for this part here. So we're going to start off with 2 pieces that are 4 by 3.5, and we're going to score on the 4-inch side at 1/2 inch. So we're making a perfect 3.5 by 3.5 inch square. You have those. So now on your page covers, so you have your flaps A and B that we have attached. You're going to go ahead and stick one on the top of this one here. And it's going to go all the way to the edge. And you're going to make sure you're squared off to the sides and to the bottom. And then once you are, you can remove the tape and stick it. Have that one, and then we can flip this over, and then this is the back of flap B, which is going to go down on this side. Same thing. You're going to make sure you're all squared off, top and bottom, to the bottom and to the side, and stick it down. So this is what we have right now. So you have one on each separate page, and that is what this is going to do to keep everything closed. So now you need one last piece. This is 4 by 4, and you're going to score 1/2 inch on all 4 sides, and you're going to cut it from this corner to this corner. Let me do that. And this is what you have right now. So now we're going to go ahead and trim off here. Clean up all those pieces. So just cutting at the cross intersection here. And then these pieces, I like to just go straight back. Like that. These are our little corner pockets. So now we can just fold these up. Just like that. And now these are going to go on top of those little flaps, again, right in the corners. So Make sure you're even on the sides and on the bottom. Like that. And then this one. And then we're going to do this side over here. And then this side. And that's it. That's how you go ahead and create those pages. So we have our flaps, just like this. Then each page. These pockets will get attached down when after I put my pattern paper on. This little flap will have a tie closure that we have our little photo mats hidden under. And then we open up over here and room for more, just like this. And then a pocket in the back. So let's just take a walk through with it all decorated with pattern paper. Like that. And pockets. This is our string closure with our photo mats in it. And then we flip open, and then we have this pocket here. And then our pocket in the back. And then it just all closes up. And this one will too. And then our whole book will just close up just like that. So I'm going to go ahead and decorate these pages with my pattern paper, and I'll come back and show you what that looks like. Alright, so let me just share with you what I've caught up or catch up with you so far on what I did. So I went ahead, added the cover, and then I added my little flowers on the top along with some of the fantasy fibers, which are absolutely gorgeous. And then that's the paper I put on the side and on the back. And then let me just walk you through real quick. You saw this side here, and then I did this one here for the tutorial. So let me just walk you through real quick on this one. And at the beginning of this video, you will have seen the complete walkthrough of this with all of the photo mats and tags and stuff that I added to it. So right here. That, and I can't even say how many times how gorgeous this paper is. And oops, and then we have this over here, and then it opens up just like that. And then photo mats will keep all this closed right here, and then we flip back and forth. And then you already saw this one, so that's how I decorated this page if you want to make yours similar. Alrighty, so anyway, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope that I inspired you to go ahead and look for different pieces at thrift stores, tag sales, flea markets. It is getting to be warmer weather now, so stuff is going to start opening up. So hopefully you'll find some fun pieces and go ahead and upcycle or repurpose, whatever you want to call it, on some pieces that you might find and make new treasures. All right, so anyway, if you are happy with this video and like what you see, I would love it if you gave it a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already. Link down below for all of the supplies and stuff that I used from Country Craft Creations. And until next time, guys, happy crafting. Bye.